Hello, welcome. This video is going to be about being yourself. What does that mean? You hear it all the time. Luckily, it's kind of a popular, almost cliche saying, be yourself. Audioslave has a song about it. Tons of musicians have used that phrase, be yourself. But it automatically makes you question who you are, So you ask yourself, who am I? Because you can't be yourself if you don't know yourself. So that's step one, is figure out who you are. And that's actually the only step. There isn't a step 2, 3, and 4. Because when you really find out the number one, when you find out who you are, then it all makes sense. So it's really the only thing you have to do is continuously ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? Hopefully, if you're really lucky, it'll happen really quick. You'll realize you are awareness. You are the vision that is seeing this video. You are the hearing that is hearing the sound coming from your computer or your phone. You are awareness. And what is awareness? Awareness is this moment. Awareness is now. So you could also say that you, being awareness, you are now. Another word for the now is life. Life can only exist in this moment. If you don't exist in this moment that you're hearing this, then you're not alive. You're dead. Or you're not born yet. You've either died or you haven't been created yet. Either way, you don't actually exist here, and so you would be considered dead. But the here is also in line with the material, with the physical reality, the reality that we really feel comfortable believing exists, because it's tangible. Scientifically, they're starting to discover lots of different theories. Holographic principle, the M theory, which is multiverse versus universe. Multiverse versus universe. But basically, when you get down to the quantum level, and actually, interestingly, it's been said hundreds and hundreds of years ago in the sacred ancient texts of India, and in other texts as well. But though I just read about this today, was talking about the fact that, I say fact so seamlessly. You gotta be careful when you use the word fact. But that within every atom, within every molecule, there are all these other dimensions. And possibly worlds. And to which case, other realities are just as conceivable, just as real, just as practical as this one, the one that you're used to, the one that you're comfortable with. That's a lot to take in. Just this 4 minutes of concept and perspective shifting is a lot to take in. So you can pause here. Let's just pause here. Pausing meaning don't think about it. Don't think about it. Yeah, that's the trick. You gotta just listen to your mind. Listen to the thoughts that go by, but don't identify with them. Just like when you see the clouds, you don't think I am the clouds. You see the clouds, and the clouds go by. They weren't you when you first saw them, and they aren't you when they disappear. And that's the same with your thoughts. They're not you when all of a sudden they just randomly pop up, and they're not you when they disappear. So, who are you? Keep asking yourself that. Keep asking myself that. And when you know, when you really know, you know. So until you, if there's any question of, I think I know, I'm pretty sure I know what he's talking about, but I'm not 100%, I don't feel, then you're not there. You're right, you're not 100%. Because when you know, you can't not know. And I'm sorry if it's just confusing you. If it's confusing you, you probably don't like Taoism, because it's a lot like how Taoism works. It just kind of continuously points you into like nothing. And if you're highly identified with your mind, then you'll be very confused, because you're used to having something pointing, and oh, okay, yes, that's what that's supposed to be. Okay, I understand. When you're talking about infinity, though, and when you're talking about awareness, and you're talking about all these things in our physical reality that science still doesn't understand at all. Psychology is a guess. They still have, it's such a new frontier in reality to who are we? How does the brain really work? Where does personality, where does ego come in? Where does awareness come in? Where does consciousness come in from the scientific perspective? And you can spend your whole life trying to find the answers. Or you could spend your whole life enjoying the answers without trying to find them, without trying to explain it, without the need for the mind to understand it. Instead, there's a shortcut. You just let go of the mind. You let go of that desire to know why. And ironically, when you do that, suddenly the universe or the multiverse or whatever it is, that the higher intelligence gives you more information. And you're able to process it more seamlessly, more comfortably. It's not overwhelming. It's not scary. There's no fear involved. It's very peaceful. And you feel a sense of honor when you have these aha moments, especially when they start becoming a more regular piece of your experience, of your life. It's not, you don't just have an aha moment and you're done. You have lots of aha moments. Or you could have one big one. That's the complete awakening. It can go both ways, but if you don't consider yourself 100% enlightened, like Eckhart Tolle might, you could be completely there. There's a couple other ones that are completely there. Here. Not there. Completely here. But most of us have a lot of work to do. No mind. Just being here. Feeling the chair you're sitting in, feeling the clothes hanging off of you, feeling gravity pressing against your body, changing your posture, feeling your bones, feeling the blood flow through, feeling your breath, feeling your emotions, your reactions, observing, questioning, enjoying, tasting, smelling, being in the present moment, this moment. One more quick note on being yourself. So we play different roles. We play a lot of roles. I remember recognizing this when I was younger, when I was in middle school and high school. I remember I kept catching myself. I would act very differently around my family than I would around my skateboarding buddies or around people when I was going to church. It's like I had lived different lives. These people at church knew me as a church, goer, and the people that I skateboarded with, I was completely different people. I was playing these different roles, and we all do, and for the most part, unless you really know who you are and you've done a lot of work already to figure it out, you've done a lot of digging deep within. If you haven't, then congratulations, because you have some exciting revelations awaiting you. But if you have, then congratulations, because life is good. So it's a win-win. But work is a big one for many people. We play different roles when we're working than when we are with our family, or when we are in our spiritual establishment or space, like church or a mosque. I don't know if I said that right. My forgiveness if I said that wrong. Your forgiveness, I mean. But any holy or sacred place. Although really, the present moment is sacred. This moment is sacred. And there's some story about, you go on a mountain, you climb up on the mountaintop, and you really feel the presence of the Creator, of the Divine, of God, of Allah, of Om, whatever you wish to call it. You feel it there. You feel it at your favorite church, or some magical forest, like the great red trees. I think they're the great red trees. I don't know, the mile-high trees with their own ecosystems, whatever those trees are called. But it's not necessarily the land that makes that spot sacred. It's two things. It's the present moment and it's perspective that creates the sacredness. And so that's all you need to experience that level of sacredness. Is this moment that you are in right here, listening to this, and then shifting your perspective. Asking the right questions, or not asking questions at all. And not resisting the possibilities. So go throughout your week and notice how many different roles you play. Once you've realized how many different roles you play, it doesn't have to be exact, but just get an idea. Then start to see if you can find one unifying way of being that works in all aspects of your life, in all situations. Whether you are out drinking with your drinking buddies, if you have drinking buddies. I don't have drinking buddies, but nothing wrong with it. Fellowship is fellowship. There is something wrong with it, especially fellowship is completely dependent on altering the consciousness through a physical form, like drugs or alcohol. And it's kind of sad, because it's like, could you be friends without it? Sorry to go off topic. I didn't mean for it to go that way, but it did. And so I'm not going to resist it. I'm not going to suffer over it. Hopefully you aren't. Being yourself. So just keep observing how you act. How do you act when you are given the power, when you are the customer, and you're being treated as the king, you're being served, and then see if you act differently when you are the server, when you're giving somebody else the power, whether it's your boss, or your wife, or your husband, or your children, or somebody that everybody kind of has someone that they kind of surrender to, and then they also usually have someone that surrenders to them. So observe how you handle this fluctuation in power. Perhaps you also treat people differently when the power is equal versus when it is different. When you see each other as equal, you have a sort of different persona, a different perspective of life, or your attitude, your mental reactions are different. Also, it helps to observe the fear that's behind a lot of this change, this fluctuation in how we act. A lot of it comes down to fear. And it's not fear as in you're not strong enough or you're weak or something like that. It's just fear. It's just, you just acknowledge it. You acknowledge the fear. You acknowledge the uncomfort of really just being yourself. That is the fear. And that's how you overcome it. You acknowledge it. When you can look into darkness and you can acknowledge the darkness and you don't run away from the darkness, then you have conquered the darkness. You don't fear it. You can't fear it. When you're looking at it and you see it, you label it and you say, okay, you are fear. I see you. I acknowledge your presence. And now I'm going to let it go. I wish you a beautiful present moment, this moment. And until we meet in this moment again, take a deep breath. Much love.